has confirmed that Israel and Lebanon will be holding a second round of talks in Washington, D.C. on Thursday. Lebanon's president has named a former ambassador to the U.S., Simon Karam, to lead the country's delegation. In a statement, Joseph Aoun said no one will share this task with Lebanon or take its place. He also noted the choice to negotiate aims to stop hostilities, end the Israeli occupation of southern regions, and deploy the Lebanese army all the way to the internationally recognized southern borders. Heidi Pett is in Tyre in southern Lebanon with more on the country's position on talks with Israel.
Joseph Aoun, in announcing Simon Karam, this former U.S. ambassador, as Lebanon's representative in these talks with Israel, was very careful to point out that he was the only representative for Lebanon and that there would be no substitute. And that is in reference to this attempt by Iran to tie Lebanon to the broader regional conflict. At one point they were saying that there would be no agreement, no ceasefire between the U.S., Israel and Iran if there was not also a ceasefire here in Lebanon. Now, there are some people here in Lebanon, Hezbollah notably, and their supporters, but others too, who thought that that might have actually been a good idea because they fear that the Lebanese government has very little leverage in negotiations with Israel. It's not technically a party to the conflict. The Lebanese army is quite weak. But there are many others, the president, the prime minister, Nawaf Salam included among them, who see this attempt by Iran to tie the future of Lebanon, any peace, any ceasefire, however long it may last, as an assault on Lebanon's sovereignty. They resented the idea that Iran should be able to dictate what goes on here inside Lebanon. And so this is an attempt to, in their eyes, to reassert Lebanese sovereignty. But it's also a little bit of insurance that if things go wrong between the US, Israel and Iran, if that breaks down, that war does not immediately start again here as well. And so that's why he's appointed this former ambassador, Simon Karam. He was the Lebanese ambassador to the US back in the 1990s, been practicing as a lawyer and in politics since then. He's sending him over with a very, very strict and very narrow mission as the one representative. Now, we've heard from members of Hezbollah today in an interview with AFP, Hassan Fadlallah, who's an MP from Bint Jbeil here in southern Lebanon, warning that it was not in the interests of not just Lebanon and Lebanese state, but not in the interests of the president to engage in these direct negotiations with Israel.
Noor O'Day is near Ramallah in the occupied West Bank with more on Israel's approach to the talks with Lebanon.
This is not a process that the Israeli government really wanted or was excited about. In fact, the narrative here in the commentary, in the political commentary, certainly from the opposition, is that the Israeli prime minister was forced into this, much like he was forced to declare or to submit to a ceasefire with Lebanon that was announced by the U.S. president. Of course, Israel's demands are maximalist. Israel continues to occupy a big chunk of Lebanese land in the south. It is still methodically and systematically demolishing Lebanese villages. It has even declared a so-called yellow line that extends into Lebanon's territorial waters and even includes the oil and gas field, Qana field, belonging to Lebanon. It wants to use all of that as leverage to impose or force the Lebanese government to forcefully disarm Hezbollah, because even the Israeli military estimates that no matter how long a military operation they can conduct, that will not result in the disarming of the group. Of course, Israel is quite aware that that demand might spiral Lebanon into a civil war, and the commentary is quite candid in Israel about that, and it doesn't see a problem with that because, according to the former commander of the home front, a civil war in Lebanon would cost the current Lebanese government less than an Israeli military assault.
Israeli attacks have killed nearly 2,300 people in Lebanon since the conflict with Hezbollah began in early March. The Iran-allied group says the Israeli army has continued destroying homes in villages it now occupies in southern Lebanon. Israeli airstrikes have also targeted towns and villages in the Bekaa Valley in Lebanon's east, from where Malcolm Webb reports.
Ali Rida says he found the bodies of his landlord's children blasted into the street after an Israeli airstrike. He told us they lived above his workshop, where he spray-painted cars here on the outskirts of the town of Sokhmor in Lebanon's Bekaa Valley. This is what's left of his livelihood.
The Israeli strike happened at 3:30 in the morning. There was absolutely no reason, but Israel is known for this. They target civilians and in some places children. Here, a woman with her daughter and son were killed. Imagine, they were sitting at home thinking they were safe.
Ali and the neighbours told us the children's father is in hospital, blinded by the blast and with both his legs broken by falling rubble. They say they don't know if he'll survive. The town's mayor told us more than 140 houses have been damaged or destroyed.
Most of the people have returned, but they're worried about the general situation, and all of them are waiting for negotiations. And the internal situation in Lebanon, we're urging, needs unity.
Just down the road in the town of Mashgara, this is what remains of a building that included the homes of two families, completely destroyed when it was hit in an airstrike. The neighbours say they have no idea why certain homes were targeted. The families that live here had evacuated, as had most of the population of the town, so no one was killed when this building was hit. Not so the person who happened to be driving past in that car. He was killed. Mahmoud Ibrahim, who lives across the road, told us he's lucky to be alive.
I had parked the pickup truck next to my house. Within 5 minutes, as soon as I went inside, I felt something in the air, and then there was a very powerful explosion. Everything in my house was blown apart. The glass, the aluminum, the windows.
Israel's military says it targets Hezbollah fighters and infrastructure, but it's hit civilian sites across Lebanon. Some of the displaced people are waiting to find out if the ceasefire will hold before they return home. Others have nothing to go back to. Malcolm Webb, Al Jazeera, Bekaa Valley.